Hey, Nick here. So tomorrow I'm going to take on the biggest challenge yet. We'll be doing the Spartan Ultra here in Tri-State, New Jersey. So this venue is ranked probably one of the top 3 most difficult venues to ultra that Spartan has, so it's definitely going to be a doozy. I've done the trifecta weekend here the past 2 years, and I can tell you those hills are no joke. When I went to pick up the bin, I saw a new obstacle. They had twister with the rope, like the little loop ropes to another twister. So that's going to be an interesting one. I hope everyone who's doing this venue is safe, and I hope to see you tomorrow.
Have a great race, Spartans. Have fun. Be safe. We'll see you all at that finish line. Rude. Have a good one, guys. We'll see you at that finish line. Come back.
as you can see here, I was actually able to beat the Tri-State New Jersey Ultra. And I was also able to, day 2, beat the trifecta weekend, earning my first trifecta. So I wanted to talk a little bit because my video, it was basically so cold that my camera was just freezing and stopped recording. So if you see some of the footage of the last obstacles, it was from day 2 just because my camera died. But basically where I left off was the first loop ended up being almost 20 miles, for at least for me. Like I was at like 19.5, which was super discouraging. I got to transition area and it was around 1:30 to like 1:35ish, and cutoff time was 2:30. So I'm like, okay, I have an hour left to beat this thing. Can I do it? And it's just pouring down rain, pouring down rain. It was getting colder and colder. And a lot of people who are in transition area, I just saw them like pick up their stuff and leave. Like they didn't even bother lap 2. And I got to a point when I was there, I'm like, is it even worth trying to do it? I mean, I have an hour to spare. I'm like, well, I already paid for it. I'm here. I'm just going to keep going and we'll just see what happens. So I started lap 2. What kind of boosted me on lap 2 were I had those Stouffer's cookies. Like, you know, if you go to the grocery store, you have those sugar cookies with all the frosting and like little giblets on them. So I had like a box of them and I literally ate the whole box except for one cookie at the start of lap 2. And that just kind of like gave me such a sugar rush that it just boosted me. I was like, all right, I think I can do it. But as I kept going, it just got colder and colder and rainier. So I hit mile 22 and it was starting to get dark. There was like no one around me. It was just basically me. And I was like miserable because with all the cold, my knuckles, like right here, you can see some definition. They were like swollen from like the cold. Like I couldn't physically grip things. So there's a point where I just started like skipping the obstacles because I was so cold I couldn't even like get food out of my Camelback anymore. They were that cold. And there's nobody around me. I'd get to like some of the carries on lap 2 and they just shut them down because the rain was so bad. It might be a little bit earlier in the video, but you'll see like, especially at the carries, people would have a bag and it was so muddy, you just slide and people were like throwing the bags that would land on them. People were getting seriously injured. So like even if they were open, I probably would have skipped those 2 just to keep pushing on. But yeah, that mile 22 to 28, there was like maybe a couple people ahead of me that kind of got out of reach and there's just nobody around me. And I'm like, am I even like, I don't even, like my watch says it was like 6 or something. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm close to the end of the race. Am I near the end of the race? I'm at mile 25. Do I even have any time to spare? And it just got so cold. I'm like running like my feet, legs were soaked because most of the trail at this point was like this much mud. Like my whole shoe went in up to my ankles. Every step was like just mud, gross, and cold. And at many points I got to an obstacle, there's a volunteer there. I'm like, should I just quit? I really wanted to quit. It was like very miserable out there. But I was like, I don't know. I'm just going to keep going. I made it this far. I'm just going to see what happens. I kind of made the promise to myself. I was like, even though I really wanted to give up, I'm like, well, I'll be very upset with myself if I just gave up. So I'm like, I'll just keep going. And if I get cut off due to like being too slow, I can live with that. I'll be like, okay, at least I tried. So when I hit the mile 28, I was so miserable. Still nobody is around me. There was this corner that went up the hill and I saw the sandbag carry. And then there's the A-frame cargo net. And I'm like, I went up the hill a little bit and I stood there for like a couple minutes. I'm like, I kind of just want to, I was like so miserable and cold. I'm like, I just want to leave and just go and be done with the race. And then I'm just like, I just forced myself. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to keep going. Don't do that, which I'm glad I did because eventually 2 guys came up behind me and they're both in the ultra bin. They are both chattering like the whole race. I'm like chattering my teeth. These 2 guys were in the same boat. Their knuckles were super swollen. They looked red. they were chattering too, and they came up, they were super cheery. They're like, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, I'm so miserable right now, I don't even know I'm out here. And they're like, yeah, we're pretty bummed out too, but we're at like mile 28, there's only gonna be a couple more, we have to keep going. And just seeing them in that like miserable state, it was kind of like, well, if they're that miserable and still gonna do it, I'm going to too. Like, I can't give up seeing them. And that was kind of like the motivation that I just kept following. They went ahead of me. I didn't want them to hold me back or anything. Like, I could still see them until the end of the race. And I was just like slowly following, which really pushed me to be able to beat this thing. I definitely wanted to quit at many times, but I just couldn't. I just wanted to see where I got to. I ended up finishing the race at 7:40, so I had an hour and 20 minutes to spare. I think some key things that helped me beat the race was, one, I never stopped to take a break. I always kept moving. Even when I was eating, I'd just go to a walking pace, continue eating, and then, continue the run or whatever pace I was at. That was a big one that helped me get through it. What was I'm trying to think. That was the big thing. I just never stopped. Just kept going over and over, one foot after another, until I finally made it to the end of the race. So it does sound cheesy, but a lot of people, when they make the videos, they're like, if you just don't stop, keep going, even if you're walking. That was a big component that helped me beat this race. Another thing, I'm blanking. What was that other thing then? Yes, the obstacles. So they cut off a lot of the carries because everyone was getting injured, slipping and falling on the mud. So even if you wanted to, you weren't allowed to do a lot of the carries at the end, which was huge. I really like that. Was a big difference where I didn't have to push myself on a lot of the hard obstacles lap 2. I could just keep running by, which was probably another big component of why I was able to pass the race. In total, at least on my app, I got 13 hours, 9 minutes. And for me, I'm trying to see here. Yeah, I finished 79 out of 87 in my category rank. And then we were looking it up. I think there was only 6 females that actually completed the race too. So it seems like just over 100 people competed or were able to complete it. There could have been more, because I don't know if that in the app includes like the age group people or the competitive people. But I was just really excited that I didn't give up, because there's so many points I really did. This was by far the hardest race I've ever ran, and I want the encouragement for you guys to be able to push on and not give up and just do one step after another. I'm not a super athlete. I'm pretty average. I run like 3 days a week when I'm trying to train for these races, and I was still able to beat it trying the best. Like the first loop, I did most of the obstacles, I want to say, and we were able to go through it. I would say the most the horrible part of this race was they had a barbed wire crawl uphill to Olympus, to another barbed wire crawl uphill, to then the Hercules hoist. And I know a lot of people were just kind of like, I'm not going to do that, and just stopped. But basically, so I'll re-show you. There's the little belt. The t-shirts are all the same this year. You get this little purple thing that says like 50K, 60 obstacles, it's pretty cool. I mean, like, I'm hyped I got it. And then I also bought the hat because I was proud. But hopefully I'll see you. Hopefully that explains kind of what happened when my camera was dying. But I hope to see you on the next race. Thanks for staying tuned.